Okay, let's be real. Have you ever had a moment where you're staring at your screen, you've got like a million tabs open, and you're trying to juggle a bunch of different logins for the same website? Yeah, you know the feeling. It's a total pain. And we usually think, ugh, I need to be more organized. But what if? What if it's not you? What if the browser itself is the problem? Well, in this explainer, we're going to dive into a totally different way to think about your browser, a way that actually moves the whole thing into the cloud. So let's really dig into this problem, right? For most of us, our web browser is basically our office. It's where everything gets done. But at the same time, it's also this constant source of, well, friction. It's this low-key annoyance that just saps your focus and your energy day in and day out.
So take a look at this. Does this feel familiar? I mean, really think about your day-to-day, that constant little dance you do, logging in, logging out, opening an incognito window. All that mental energy you waste just trying to keep your accounts from bumping into each other. It really does feel like you're fighting with your browser, doesn't it? Instead of it just working for you.
And this is what we do to cope, right? We've all been there. The digital acrobatics of clearing your cookies, swapping between browser profiles. I've even heard of people using a whole separate laptop just to stay logged into another account. It sounds crazy, but it happens. And underneath all of that is this little voice of anxiety in the back of your head just worrying, what if I accidentally post this to the wrong company account? It's stressful.
You know, it's not just about being annoying. This is a real problem. All that wasted time and energy, it's a massive productivity killer. But even more important is the security side of things. Every single thing you do online, on your own computer, opens you up to risks like malware or phishing scams. It kind of makes you think, maybe the way we've always used browsers has some serious flaws.
Okay, so if the old way of doing things is broken, what's the fix? This brings us to a pretty wild idea. What if your browser wasn't even running on your computer in the first place? And that is the big idea right here. It's called a cloud virtual browser. So basically, the browser session, all the code, the scripts, the videos, everything, it's all running on a super secure server somewhere far away. Your computer, your laptop, it never actually touches the website's code. All you get is a safe, interactive visual stream. It's kind of like you're using a secure remote control for the internet. So, how does this magic actually work? It's really just two simple steps. First, everything from the web page runs remotely in its own little isolated bubble in the cloud. And second, you just interact with a secure video feed of that web page. This creates what's called an air gap. It's a digital barrier. Any nasty malware or trackers on that site, they literally have no way to get to your machine. They're stuck in the cloud.
Now this chart really spells it out. The old way, with local browser profiles, everything kind of shares the same resources on your computer. That's why cookies get mixed up and you're vulnerable to attacks. But with Sendwin's cloud tabs, it's a whole different ballgame. Every single tab is completely isolated from the others. There's no shared storage. This is a zero-trust approach, which is a huge deal in security. Basically, it means no tab trusts any other tab, and absolutely nothing from the web is trusted enough to run on your machine.
Okay, so the security benefits are pretty obvious. That's a huge win. But what does this mean for how you actually get your work done every day? Let's talk about how this whole cloud thing can actually make you more productive.
Right, so the first big change is how you deal with all those different accounts. Because every single tab is its own isolated container, you can basically think of each one as a fresh, brand new browser. This is awesome. It means you can have one tab logged into your personal Gmail, another into your work Gmail, and a third into a client's Gmail, all at the same time, side by side. No more collisions, no more logging each other out.
And here's something really cool this makes possible. A new way to collaborate. We've all done it. Sending passwords over Slack or email, and you just cringe, right? Well, instead of sharing a password, you can share the actual logged-in session. You can invite a teammate right into your live session to do something, and when they're done, you just revoke their access, instantly. No more passwords floating around in the ether.
And of course, this is all built on a rock-solid security foundation. The remote execution we talked about keeps your computer clean. The stream coming to you is protected with super strong encryption. We're talking AES 256 and RSA 2048, which are the gold standards. And the whole thing is sandboxed. That means even if a website has some kind of nasty exploit, it's trapped in a disposable little box in the cloud, miles away from your important stuff.
Okay, so who really needs this? Let's look at some real-world examples of how this completely transforms the way people work.
Let's start with marketers and advertisers.
If you've ever managed multiple ad accounts for clients, you know the pain. You're constantly logging in, logging out, using those clunky profile switchers. It's a mess. But with this, imagine having 5 different client ad accounts open in 5 different tabs, all at once, with 0 issues. The amount of time you'd save is just wow.
The same idea works perfectly for e-commerce sellers. Anyone who runs more than one store on Shopify or Amazon knows exactly what I'm talking about. Keeping those storefronts separate is a huge headache. This kind of total isolation prevents those expensive mistakes. You know, like posting a new product to the wrong shop or messing up the payout accounts.
And for my techie friends out there, developers, testers, security folks, the idea of a disposable browser is a total game changer. You can spin up a completely clean sandbox session in just a few seconds to check out a sketchy link or test a new script without any risk. And the best part? When you close that tab, poof, the whole remote environment is gone, leaving 0 trace on your computer.
All right, so the idea is powerful, and you can see how it would work for a lot of different people. So let's wrap this up by looking at how you can actually get started with a cloud browser like this. So, to get people to give this a shot, they've made it super easy. There's a trial, and it's just $1. For $1, you get 7 days of the full, unlocked experience to see if this way of working is right for you. No big commitment, just a really easy way to test it out. And getting started is dead simple. You just sign up on their website, pick your plan, like that $1 trial, and then you launch your first session right from the dashboard. And because it's all in the cloud, there's absolutely nothing to install. You can be up and running in minutes.
So let's just do a quick recap of the big takeaways here. You get true multi-login thanks to that per-tab isolation. You can securely share sessions with teammates without sharing passwords. You can even use different proxies for each session, which is great for geotesting. The whole sandbox thing keeps your computer safe and clean. And it's all backed up by a 30-day money-back guarantee.
So I'll just leave you with this one last question to think about. For almost all of us, our browser is the #1 tool we use every single day. But it's also probably our biggest frustration and our biggest security risk. So what would it mean for you? What would change if your browser finally stopped being a liability and actually became your most powerful asset?